Is this a good or a bad thing? Because here it comes, and we may want to get ready or prepare now because it is upon us, and it's all being highlighted right here in this article, which, by the way, this is just one of a million articles that are out there right now talking about this, but it was based on some new information that was released just this morning, and I want to break it all down because we've been waiting for this. We knew it was coming, and it is upon us right here, right now, and this gives us a little bit of a glimpse into the future as far as what we're going to see here over the coming days, weeks, and months. This is very important, and what they're highlighting again in this article and all the other articles that are out there right now talking about this. This is a really big deal. We have not seen something like this in several years. Now, really quickly, I have a quick question for you. Let me know down below in the comment section. Do you feel like we are currently in a recession right here, right now? Do you feel that way with your own personal situation? Do you feel like this is really tough? Do you feel like it's economically a really bad time? Or do you feel like, no, I'm good. I'm just humming right along. I'm doing great. I'd love to hear from you down below in the comment section. I don't think anybody's like feeling that way right now, at least the vast majority of people. Maybe there's a few people out there, but I'm not thinking that's the case with a lot of people. But again, I don't want to influence your decision, but I would love to hear from you. Do you feel like we're in a recession right here, right now? Is that what it feels like for you in your own personal situation? Anyway, I look forward to reading your comments down below. All right, so anyway, I'm not going to pop this article up right now just because there's honestly really no reason to. I'll just explain the details about it. You can look it up if you want to. There's a ton of articles out there talking about this. It's all over the place. But anyway, so earlier today we got GDP, gross domestic product information data that was released on the first quarter of this year. Okay, now I just want to make it very clear. I don't want to turn this into some big economic lesson here in this video, but I do want to talk about this really quickly because we've been discussing details like this for quite a while now, and this number that we got out this morning showed that GDP, again, gross domestic product, declined by 0.3% in the first quarter of this year. Now, you might be thinking, okay, like, I don't know what that means. Why do we care? Here's why we care about this. We have not seen a decline in GDP basically in about 5 years or so, okay? Now, the reason that that's such a big deal is that to get into a technical recession, right? We've talked about this many times before. Oh, recession, here it comes. Get ready. Recession's when we get all kinds of money distributed. That's when they distribute stimulus checks, all kinds of stuff like this, right? They're not doing that yet, but here's why this is such a big deal. In the fourth quarter of last year, we saw GDP annualized, an annualized growth rate of GDP at 2.4%. Right now, we're seeing a decline of 0.3% or 0.3%, right? That's a major shift. Okay, now a lot of people are saying, oh, it's all because of the tariffs. Newsflash, there really weren't a whole lot of tariffs going on in January, February, and March of this year. So that's not really what it's coming down to. Could people possibly be cutting back the first quarter of this year? Obviously, we're in the second quarter right now. But in the first quarter, where they may be cutting back a little bit with anticipation of major tariffs coming. Yeah, for sure. They probably did, right? But realistically, if we're seeing a decline in the first quarter of the year as we ramped up to the announcement of tariffs, we're pretty much guaranteeing a major cutback and a major decline in GDP for the second quarter right here, right now, as I'm filming this video right here. Now, obviously, we're not going to get this data out for another 3 months or so. We're not going to get the official data on the second quarter of the year for several months now. But the point being is that if we're already starting to see a decline in GDP for the first quarter, we're likely going to see it in the second quarter as well, especially as we got the massive tariffs that were announced on April 2nd, right? Technically, April 2nd is the second quarter of the year, so we're not going to see any of that, for several months here until we wrap up the second quarter, which is, obviously the end of June, right? But anyway, big point being is that we've been talking about this for a while right now. We're likely already in a recession, even though it's not going to be confirmed for several months, because that's just how it goes. With the data and how it goes, we won't see a confirmation of an official recession for probably 3 more months, right? So even being, my point being is that it's going to be massively delayed. That's why I asked you at the beginning of the video, do you feel like we are currently living in a recession right here, right now? Because that's just how it kind of goes, is that if we feel like it, whether it's true or not, if it feels that way for us, the reality is it's true for us, right? So that's the situation, is that a lot of times it's self-fulfilling, because when we feel like we are living through a recession, we maybe cut back a little bit. We think, no, we've got to conserve. We maybe need to save a little bit of money if possible. We don't need to maybe buy a few extra things. We maybe get to be a little bit more cautious when we feel like we are currently living in a recession. And if that's how people are feeling, again, whether the economic data shows that we actually are in a technical economic recession or not, whether we feel it or not, if we feel that way, then it's true for us, right? So point being is that we've already got one quarter, okay? We've got one quarter in the books. So we need 2 quarters in the books, and we're in the second quarter right now, and this is probably going to be, for sure, another declining quarter. So we're literally, most likely, in a recession, a technical economic recession right here, right now, even though it has not technically been confirmed yet. Okay, why do we care? Why am I talking about this? Here's why we care. When we get the technical recession, as in when we get the official confirmation of an economic recession, that's when things start to get bad super fast, because when we get the confirmation of it, that's when it's like, whoa, it's in the headlines, everybody's talking about it, it's all over the place. Right now, it's still speculation, like, well, we're probably in a recession, we don't have confirmation yet, we don't know that for sure, but when we do actually see the economic data that comes in saying, yep, it's confirmed, we're in a recession, right? That's when things start to get bad, because again, people start to think, oh man, this is getting really serious. We've got a recession. We haven't had one of these in several years, right? But the situation being is that when we go into recession, I've said this all the time, depending on the severity of that recession, some recessions can be very short-lived and very minor too, right? We dip into a recession, a very minor one, not like a big deal at all, and we pop right out of it, and it's like, oh, no big deal. But that doesn't happen all that often. The point being is that if we get into a big, nasty recession, which we could easily have here in the second half of the year, and the reason I say second half of the year is because it won't be confirmed until then, right? We're not going to get the confirmation until basically the end of July, right? So at that point, that's when things could really drop off significantly, and we're likely going to see more confirmation of this data getting really bad here starting in June. Well, right here as I film this video, we're not in June yet, but another handful of weeks here, and we're going to be right there, and that's where we're going to see all this, severely worse data coming out, okay? But when it comes down to stimulus, I know a ton of you here in this community are wondering about stimulus, and I don't want to make this whole video about stimulus because that's not what this is about. But since I'm talking about this, and many of you here in the community are asking questions about it all the time, I will allude to it really quickly. It all depends on the severity of the economic contraction, otherwise known as recession, right? But the situation being is this, is what we're dealing with right now with the massive implementation of the tariffs, basically the destruction of trade between us and other countries across the globe, we're likely going to see a pretty nasty recession. Whether it lasts for 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 months, something like that, or whether it's very quick, we don't know the details, but it's likely going to be a pretty nasty one. But also, when it comes down to stimulus, I've said this for many years and I'm sticking to it, which is when we do see a major recession, provided it is an ugly one, we don't get stimulus when it's just a little practice recession. Oh, it's just a little dip in a recession in and out, right? No, it's not how it works. We don't get stimulus when that happens. But when we get into a nasty one, when we see a nasty recession, like all the other nasty things that are going on right now, like I've been talking about in some of the videos, that's when we see stimulus provided. Obviously, no guarantees, but that's when we have a very, very, very high likelihood of that actually happening, right? So anyway, I'm going to talk about it really quickly just because we got the report out this morning and came out showing, yep, GDP declining, and that's not what a lot of people want to hear, right? But this is the reality. No shock. I don't think anybody came in and thought we were going to see a strong number here. I think we all came in and had a pretty good idea this is going to be a pretty bad number, and it did. Now, when we get the next number out in another 3 months from now, basically the end of July, when we get the next number out for the second quarter, I think we're already going to say this. I'm just going to say it right here, right now. It's going to get bad. It's going to be a bad, ugly number. We already know this. How bad? That's the big question. Honestly, if you want stimulus, the worse the number, the better off it's going to be for the distribution of stimulus, right? Again, I'm just saying this much. The numbers can come in all they want. The numbers can be as bad as they could ever possibly be. It's not necessarily about the numbers so much, but rather we need to see the full effects of it really showing up in the economy as well. And realistically, by then, we're probably going to start to see some of those major effects as well. So Anyway, interesting. Just want to point this out for you really quickly. I know some of you here in the community may not care about this, but just want to follow up to this really quickly because, again, this is what it's all predicated on as far as the distribution of additional money or stimulus, stuff like that. And again, that's not what this video is all about, but rather it's all economically based. Every single time, the distribution of stimulus is based on the economy. Well, when you see economy coming in with bad numbers like this, now it's like, okay, now we're starting to see what's going on here and getting a better grip on this, okay? Anyway, I'll keep you posted with all this going on right now. It's a wild time. A lot of things are changing, and I'll keep you posted on that. Anyway, if you want a little more certainty with things going on right now, less confusion, less headaches, and less frustration, hey, check this out right here. This is the phone number for a team of trusted advisors when it comes down to Medicare. If you need any help with Medicare, again, initial enrollment into Medicare, Medicare supplements, otherwise known as Medigap plans, Part D plans, Medicare Advantage, whatever it happens to be, again, here you go. The team of trusted advisors with this phone number right here, they're waiting on standby to help you. Give them a call. It's 100% free. They have access to over 20,000 plans across the country. They're working diligently to help seniors every single day to find the best plan at the best price with the best coverages for their personal needs. And they're doing an amazing job with it as well. So a simple 5, 10, 15, maybe 20-minute phone call could possibly save you a ton of time, a huge amount of frustration, a ton of confusion, and possibly even a boatload of money and get you even way better coverages. So there you go. Phone number, totally free. Again, if you're turning 65, if you're retiring, moving across state lines or county lines, initial enrollment into Medicare, if you need help with your Medicare, whatever it happens to be, call them. It's totally free, and they'll help you out as much as they possibly can. It's an awesome service. By the way, we're rapidly approaching 2,000 people here in this community that have already called them, and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of you have saved a lot of money. I've seen the numbers coming in. So anyway, give them a call. You know the drill, and it's totally free. It's all free here. Everything here on the channel is 100% free because that's just how we like to do things, right? Love free stuff. Anyway, if you know anybody in that situation, I know you know a few people, think of a few people, friends, family members, neighbors, acquaintances, siblings, co-workers, parents, anybody like that, please share that phone number with them as well. They'll be incredibly appreciative of you for sharing that information. Otherwise, if you're new here, if you've not done so yet, please consider subscribing. 100% free to do so. Big subscribe button down below. Feel free to share the video. Big share button down below as well. Otherwise, check out the well over 5,000 videos here on the channel in the video library. The popular videos I've hand selected for you down below in the description or popping up on your screen here in just a minute. You'll see some videos there. Check those out. Otherwise, until next time, have a nice day. Take care, and I hope to see you again soon in the next video. I'll catch you.